Good morning, evening, or afternoon to all of you beautiful people. Josh here to bring you some sweet voice-based content. So I've been voice acting for about 7 to 8 months now in the hopes of becoming any sort of level of professional. But in the short time I've been voice acting, I've learned a lot and I figured it'd be nice to share with you some of those things today. Quick disclaimer, these are just things that I personally have experienced and may have absolutely no relevance to you. But if any of these do resonate with you, I'm glad I could make a video that helps you out. So, without further ado, let's go! So, the biggest thing I've learned from my time voice acting is how important my history of acting has been in making myself a better voice actor. For those of you who may not know, I actually have a background in both theatre and musical theatre, having been in everything from Midsummer Night's Dream to Rent to Cats. And in all honesty, this has helped my voice acting to no end. How, you might ask? Well, theatre and musical theatre are weird. Some of the things you do in theatre can be embarrassing, uncomfortable, just all around strange. But it's when you do a really good job and you really give a convincing performance that I think you've done your job really well. Honestly, I really can't recommend theatre and acting highly enough if you're looking to improve your skills as a voice actor. If you can, join a local theatre company or see if your local community centre does acting classes. You know, once this shitty pandemic is done with. If you're nervous about joining a class or a club, then try online classes, or maybe even do some role-playing with some friends. See if you can really immerse yourself in a character or a story, but above all else, just get involved, just get acting. It's a really great way to improve, get over performance anxiety, and just overall hone your craft. Next, I'm going to talk about something that I personally have done, and then talk about something that I've seen a lot of in auditions. Now, I did this quite a lot, so take this from somebody who did this more than they should have. Check the volume of your auditions! Now, I know a lot of you are going to be shaking your head and saying, well, duh, Josh. But when I say check the volume of your auditions, I do not just mean check them on one source. What sounds good on a pair of great studio headphones or even a pair of earphones if you're using those, may not sound good on a pair of laptop speakers or other studio headphones that a director might be using. In my early stages of auditioning, I cannot count the amount of auditions that were just way too quiet because they sounded fine on my headphones, but when I played them through a laptop speakers, it was so quiet. Personally, nowadays, before I submit an audition, I perform what I call the 3-speaker test. Essentially does what it says on the tin. If it sounds good on my headphones, my laptop speakers, and my phone speakers, we're normally pretty good to go. Now, speaking of auditions, if you are auditioning for something, do not leave a gap before the audition starts, and do not spend 10 seconds introducing yourself and the part you're auditioning for. I've seen so many of these on Casting Call Club alone. And every single time, without fail, those guys did not get casted. I've spoken with a few directors because I personally like to get feedback on my own auditions, and every single one of them has said that if there is a gap at the start before the audition begins, or if there's a long introduction of the person introducing their name and how excited they are about the part and all this sort of thing, then it's very unlikely that that person's going to get casted. A little story, the worst offender I saw for this did a full 20-second introduction of himself, his age, where he's from, how excited he was about the part, what he liked about the part. He crammed that into 20 seconds and still had a 7-second gap between the introduction and actually doing the fucking audition! Look, I'm still learning things myself. I'm still learning the do's and don'ts when it comes to auditioning. But even I know, from my experience and from what I've learned, if a director doesn't ask for something, just don't do it. Directors have hundreds and hundreds of auditions to go through. Sometimes hundreds of auditions just for one part. And if your audition doesn't get straight to the point, you're gonna lose their interest. It sounds harsh, but if you had 100 people saying the same lines over and over and over and over again, I'm sure you'd want to just get to the point as well. Next up, something that I had to learn the hard way about voice acting is rejection. Now, rejection is a huge part of being a voice actor. Auditioning for hundreds of projects can sometimes only lead to 4 or 5 parts. Sometimes not even that. And now I'll be honest, at the start, it was tough for me. It was really rough. I really struggled with the idea that I would audition for hours, sending out so many auditions and not hear back from any of them. Especially for projects that I really liked the look of and I was really, really excited about the part I was auditioning for. But here's the thing. There's so many other people that are going to want the same role as you, and on some days, they're just going to be better. But, and this is where the uplifting part of this video comes in, that doesn't mean you should give up. In fact, it means the complete opposite. Strive to get better. Find out what that person that got casted over you did that was better than yours. Talk to directors, get feedback. Ask friends for feedback. Never be afraid to ask what you could have done better, because at the end of the day, if you work hard and look to really improve yourself, it's gonna pay off. Plus, don't always be disheartened if you don't get a role. Sometimes you might audition for a role, but that director might think of you for a different role, or somebody completely separate from the project might stumble across your audition and think you're great. You truly never know, so don't be afraid of rejection. Finally, and probably the most important thing I can say about voice acting is this. Do it for the right reasons. Do it because you love it. I know, it sounds sappy, it sounds cliche, it sounds sad, but just hear me out. When I first started voice acting, I was so determined. And I was so sure it was going to be my way into an industry that I loved, and all I'd have to do is work really hard for a few months and I could really make something of myself, and I could move on from my current job and do better, do new things, do exciting things. And before you ask, yes, even at 25 years old, I'm fucking naive. But you know what? I wouldn't change that mindset for the world. I'm glad I went in with that mindset. Yes, I had knockbacks, and yes, I had times where I had so many lapses in my confidence. But that mindset, coupled with the rejection, the mistakes, the things I learned along the way, it made me work harder. It forced me to do better. It forced me to take a look at every audition I submitted and think, what could I have done better? I learned so much about my abilities and what I want as a voice actor in the very short time I've been voice acting. And most importantly of all, I gained a real passion and a real hunger for voice acting. I love voice acting so much, and I intend to keep doing it for a very long time, hopefully the rest of my life. I'm no longer concerned about making it big. I just want to voice act. I want to be in projects. I want to get excited about the work I'm doing, and I'm well on my way to that, and I'm happy being in that position. So if I do make it big, then, well, that's just a bonus. But for now, I'm just happy I'm doing something I love. Because, straight up, I bloody love this. I bloody love voice acting, and that's why I made this channel, to share with you how much I love it. Anyway, enough of my sappy bollocks. I truly hope this video has helped you, or even if you weren't interested in voice acting, I hope that it's at least brought you some joy and that my experiences have made you smile, made you laugh, or made you think. But either way, if you did enjoy it, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more beautiful voice-based content. Keep your eyes out for the next video. I upload videos every fortnight, but until then, I will see you later.